Welcome back to another Monster Tower devlog. For the new people watching, Monster Tower is an indie game I'm currently developing, which is a Pokemon-like monster catcher game with a focus on a more complex grid-based combat. In the last episode, we went over adding fishing, creating a main protagonist, and starting on a basic scene for the game. You guys weren't really huge fans of the scene though, as I got a lot of comments about the game making people feel dizzy. I see your feedback and I hear you. We will be working on a few different ways over the next couple months to getting this art style set up properly while minimizing the amount of dizziness and confusion it currently causes. That's for another time though. In today's devlog, we are going to be looking into combat and starting to set up the basic version of what we have envisioned. The first thing I did was create some basic menu UI sprites, and then just throwing them into a room for selecting your actions. This was achieved with just a selector variable, and depending on if you hit left or right, will move you through the menu options. I made sure it loops on itself to give players better freedom of controlling the menu, but this is really basic stuff, so let's move on into actually getting a visual on screen. Here we have the first prototype of the monsters in the room. I created a sprite for the tiles under the monsters and then just plopped in some basic X and Y coordinates to draw the tiles and monsters in the room. I then set up a system where when you select the move option, you can actually select a creature on your team. No turn-based game is going to work without visual information though, so I slapped together some profiles of all of the monsters and put them on the UI with some health bars to display every creature's current health. It does technically work as it moves up and down as the monster's health changes, but I would like to revisit this in the future to create a cooler effect like something you see in Pokemon Battle Revolution. Anyway, I added in some sound effects created by my composer Leonard, so let's take a quick listen at the end result. Now that we have things set up visually, we had to go back and recreate all of what we did, but using real information we could pull to give our game life and have things actually interact with one another. I decided to tag in my brother for this, so with a combined effort, well, mainly him, we set up the game using DS maps and a couple arrays. For those of you that don't know what DS maps are, they're basically
an unordered list of pairs containing a key and a value combination. The key is a name that the map searches for in order to identify the associated value. That way, values can only be found, accessed, and changed using the key's identity.
Last but not least, I decided to redesign one of the monsters. So here is the before, and here is the post makeover. I have to say, I think this guy is looking much better and a lot more of what I had initially planned for his design, so I am quite happy with the end result. If you want to see more of the creatures I'm creating and get an insider look into the game's development process, make sure to follow me on Twitter, as I will be doing weekly monster reveals on a creature being added to the game with a piece of his description added in there as well. To conclude the devlog, I just wanted to mention that, as I said earlier, I read all of your comments and suggestions, which is why you might see a subtle change in my editing style for these devlogs. A lot of people over the past couple months have been telling me that they would like me to get a bit more in depth with how the game is actually being developed, challenges I face, ways of overcoming them, and things of that nature. So I will be trying to restructure my devlogs to include a little bit more information on each step of the process rather than just giving you guys a huge content dump once a month. While getting a bunch of new stuff added every month is super cool, it is extremely stressful to try and keep up with making a bigger, grander video with every passing devlog. 100% I am setting these expectations on myself, so I think that scaling back as I did in this devlog and focusing into each process a bit more will help to develop the game in a healthier way for the team, and also I will be trying out releasing 2 of these devlogs a month instead of one big one on the 5th. Still expect a Monster Tower devlog on the 5th of every month, but I am going to be experimenting with releasing a second devlog on the 20th of each month as well. The final thing I would like to mention is that I will also be releasing monster spotlights on the 10th of every month, where I go over 3 to 4 monsters in each episode, showing off how the monster was created both visually through a time lapse of some sort, and also all of the monster's information, including its typing, description, concept, and playstyles. Thank you so much for watching this devlog. Make sure to subscribe, as the channel will be a lot more alive than it has been in the past, and like this video if you've made it this far. Until the next video though, have a great life.